All right, all praise be to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Yahweh Kakodash, Yahweh being who people call God, Yahweh Shai being who people call Jesus, the bonds to the apostle of the Great Millstone Church, and salutations to the rest of the elder bishops, to the elder bishops and the rest of the elders, and Aki, I'm also the branches, holding forth the true word for true life and all true faith and sincerity. So I just want to get into this article I seen. Pretty much I'm going to use this, I'm going to be using this, but I'm entitled this message, this lesson, your only fighting chance. This truth is, the way you'll only have a fighting chance. All right, your only fighting chance. And again, your only fighting chance is this truth, this doctrine of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. Because it foretells you everything. It tells you what's going on. It tells you why. So it gives you comfort. It gives you light and darkness. Healing, cure, relief. It evens the playing field in your head. Actually puts things in, despite how you may see it, it may be being projected to you, which is unbearing, and that's why that's good. And it also helps put things in proper perspective, because people just seeing and feeling one thing inwardly, but perspective, the reality is denying that, and going away from that. And it's driving people crazy because it doesn't add up. It's not right. So I'm gonna use this article. It says jumper takes fatal leap from Yonkers high rise. That's from cops. This is 7 hours ago as of so-called September 2029, so-called 2025. A tragic incident occurred in Yonkers, New York on the night of September 26th when a person jumped to their death from a high-rise building located at 334 Riverdale Avenue. Authorities have confirmed the event, but have not disclosed further details. The situation has raised concerns about mental health and safety in urban environments. All right. So, yeah. And that word urban is basically like a buzzword for like inner city. It's basically a bum word for like, Jake community. Or Jacobo, Jacobites. Because you can't let the picture and the wording throw you off as far as how it may look, nor how they called it, a high rise. Because this shit look like this on the picture, but it ain't really like that in person. It ain't all that, you know. So it could have been Jake, you know. Says Yonkers, New York. So, but yeah, man. Again, the situation has raised concerns about mental health and safety in urban environments. So, this truth is only this truth is only our only fighting hope. It's only our fighting chance to survive in this place, man. You know, period. And we know that having it. You know what I'm saying? Eventually, everybody that isn't um, close to near the ledge, you know, close to, just throwing it in, they gonna crash out some other way. All right? And that's why this truth is highly important. You know? That's how the Lord said it would be in the end of these days. Luke 21 and 26. Men's hearts failing them for fear. See that? That's the point. And for looking after those things, why? And for looking after those things which are coming on the earth, for the powers of heaven shall be shaken. Yeah, this place is completely on the brink of collapse. Esau on his way down. The government people trusted in is no more, man. It ain't nowhere these people can really turn. You know, so if you was a man that once turned to these things, it was attached to these things, and man being, men or women, hey, you gonna be on the brink of collapse. You're gonna be losing it, man. Bite your nails, ready to crash out. You might throw in the towel. All right. So it says, so actually you read this in Isaiah 30:1. Woe to them that go 31:1. Woe to them that go down to Egypt for help and stay on chariots and stay on horses and trust in chariots because they are many, and in horsemen because they are very strong. But they look not unto the Holy One of Israel, neither seek Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shah. All right, yet he also is wise and will bring evil, and will not call back his words. Right, when the Lord is the one running this. So woe to the people who, get caught up in America, banked on their their mental, their stability from America, and their American status. Because once America go and status, the status you get from the esteem coming from America and the people of it, goes, you're gonna go. It's not gonna be anymore. Like he said, he's gonna break down these people in great power, like the so-called white man. That's why it says, envy thou not the oppressor, and choose none of his ways. Jake wanna be all damn foreign this, foreign that. European loving this, loving that. Chasing the esteem of all this European crap, as they call it. The so-called white man, because he really not even the people from Europe. Jake just bugged out. Want to be like the so-called white man. So now what's happening? Well, as the scripture say, what manner of man the ruler of the city is, such are all they that dwell therein. And what does he do when he, his things collapse that he brinked everything on? He jumps off buildings, man. And that's what a lot of Jake's gonna do, because you're gonna be just like him, trying to be like him. You're gonna be exactly like him, right? So even how he handled things. So yeah, woe to you people that get caught up in that and then don't seek the Lord. Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shah. When he also is wise. They go seek this because all the crap that he done heaped unto himself. The things he puts out as fixes when they just temporary, temporary fixes. Just pop some pills and live a rock style lifestyle. Go hard, all that. You can't sustain that. That devil was made like that. And that's what's happening to these people. When it says, yeah, he also is wise, and will bring evil. The devil will not running nothing. It will not call back his words. Right, and the Lord ain't gonna change his mind. This devil could say he gonna do this for everybody that do that, and then he don't come through on that, and now you done did that, and it was some craziness, some madness, some can't forgive yourself stuff, and now you can't live with yourself, So now you stuck with that. But he's someone he calls back his words and other words. The Lord don't do that. Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shah don't do that. If he say this gonna happen, this gonna happen. If he say you above, they below, they below. They foot gonna slide in due time. They foot gonna slide in due time. Care not for the things of this world. Be not a friend of this world. So forth and so on. He means it. The reasoning is gonna become clear. Though the vision tarry. You know what I'm saying? Don't cast away your vows while you live it. Sinning for a small matter will never be worth it. You know, um, that which is esteemed amongst men is abomination in the sight of God. Though sinners do evil 100 times, I know in his days be prolonged. I know it shall be well with him that feareth the Lord, and the wicked shall not go unpunished, man. And you don't know how that punishment can go. You know, praise none blessed before his death. So all of this is what gives you comfort and keep you clear headed, but it is what gives you a fighting chance, because everything that you may have that's of zeal, you know, naturally within you. So you're like, yeah, that ain't right. I don't think that's right. It's only able to go so far. You need this word. You need this faith. You need this armor, because you're going against your flesh that's, you know, really against you, which this world plays off of, or is actually is itself is actually just a carnal world. You know, so yeah, you got your thoughts, you doing right from wrong, or yeah, it just don't sit right with me, stuff like that. But you're not gonna be able to fight off, you know, this world and this damn wicked ass body you in. I guess this not even I guess this body you in. You know, when it tries to when all of that tries to come with the contrary, you know, say otherwise, combat those things. You made for a while, but it's only so long, man. You know, you need this word. That's why I says, let's get that in Hebrews 4:12. Matter of fact, let's come here. Let's go to Hebrews 4:12. For the word of God is alive and is alive. It's not just a book. See that? It says, and active, sharper than any double-edged sword. You know, your gun is not going to make you feel comfortable. It's not going to make you feel safe. You know, it's not going to keep things clear unto you. But you got jakes that think otherwise. It says it cuts all the way through to where soul and spirit meet, to where joints and marrow come together. It judges the desires and thoughts of the heart. There is nothing that can be hid from God. Yahweh Bashem, Yahweh Shah. Everything in all creation is exposed and lies open before his eyes. See that? So this is what's going to give you a fighting chance if you pick it up. The doctrine of Yahweh Bashem, Yahweh Shah, this word. And it is to him that we must all give an account of ourselves. You know? It's not going to be nothing else, man. All right, when you go to Psalms 44, I want to say that's the 7th chapter. Yeah, 6. Right? This is verse 4. I'll start at. You are my king and my power is in the GNT. My God, you give victory to your people. And by your power, we defeat our enemies. And it says, I do not trust in my bow. I do not trust in my bow or in my sword to save me. Yeah. The Lord not going to jam up on you, man. You know what I'm saying? The Lord can't be stolen from you, if you will. You know? Jake be dealing with all this crap. But you have saved us from our enemies and defeated those who hate us. We will praise you we will always praise you and give thanks to you forever. So it is. But now you have rejected us. Why? Because it says, with an upright man, thou will shoot thyself upright. And with a forward man, thou will shoot thyself forward. You know, because you reap what you sow. You know, so he said, but thou hast rejected us. Because why? Jake has rejected him. You rejected knowledge. So now you out here thinking you by yourself, thinking you can get it done by yourself or through all these other means. So it goes on to say, but now you have rejected us and let us be defeated. You no longer march out with our armies. See that? And that's why Jake crashing out. You made us run from our enemies. And they took for themselves what was ours. So there it is. You allowed us to be slaughtered like sheep. You scattered us in foreign countries. So there it is, man. Because if you, hey, but it's, hey, if you have the Lord, that wouldn't go on. If He was with you, that wouldn't go on. So this is what gives. If you don't got the Lord, that goes on. You run from your enemies. You run from your problems. You crash out. You jumping off buildings, so forth and so on. That's what's going on, man. So I'm gonna end this. So Isaiah 31:2, ending it. It says in the KJV, yet also he is wise and will bring. Let me start back at 1. Woe to them that go down to Egypt for help, and stay on horses and trust in chariots because they are many, and in horsemen because they are very strong. But they look not unto the Holy One of Israel, neither seek Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. He also is wise and will bring evil, and will not call back his words, but will arise against the house of evildoers, and against the help of them that work iniquity. The Lord's going to take down all fighting foes, all adversary, all adversity. He there. So you can't fight off these damn demons without Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. All right? Now the Egyptians are men and not God, and their horse is flesh and not spirit. Bunch of carnal crap. So how is that going to help your mind? It says when the spirit is what bears a man infirmities. Let this world make you all carnal to where you can get taken out. When the Lord Yahweh shall stretch out his hand, both he that helpeth shall fall, and he that is hoping shall fall down, and they shall all fail together. All right? So the scriptures tell you right here, the spirit of a man, he will what? He will bear his infirmity. Proverbs 18:14. The spirit of a man will sustain his infirmity, but a wounded spirit who can bear? All right, and let's read that in the GNT really quick. I'm reading the NLT. The human spirit can endure a sick body, but who can bear a crushed spirit? See that? So the spirit can beat out the carnal crap, overstand the carnal crap, but the carnal crap can't actually beat out what controls everything, which is the spirit. It can't prevent the spirit, your mind, from being infiltrated, which is where the war is fought at, man. This is 2 Corinthians 10 and 2. But I beseech you that I may be not bold when I am present with you with that confidence wherewith I think to be bold against some, which think of us as if we walk according to the flesh. Right. But we'll get to the point. For though we walk in the flesh, we do not war after the flesh. All right. So all that human crap, it says we are human in the NLT, but we do not wage war as humans do. Right. Because we not humans. We just, those with the understanding, we, the soldiers of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, we the sons and daughters of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. All right. It says, casting down, it says, for the weapons of our warfare are not carnal, back in the KJV, but mighty through the pulling down of strongholds. All right. So we in the NLT destroy every proud obstacle that keeps people from knowing God. We capture their rebellious thoughts and teach them to obey Hamashiach, right, through the Spirit. So with these thoughts, it be demons. These thoughts is what get you. Your flesh can't stop that. All right. And I want to get this in Ephesians 6. That basically be it. You know, because the Lord said this was going to be going on, man. This is Ephesians 6. And jumping to the point. Yeah, this is 12. It says, put on the whole armor of God. This is in the 11th. All right. Let's start at 10. The armor of God. Finally, my brethren. So brothers and sisters, it says, be strong in the Lord. This is where your strength going to be at. In Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua. And in the power of his might. Put on the whole armor of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua, that ye may be able to stand against the wiles of the devil. See that? This is in the NLT. Put on all of God's armor, Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua's armor, that you will be able to stand firm against all strategies of the devil. See that? There's many things that just try to get at you. People saying stuff, beliefs being put on you, you thinking you supposed to have this, do that. You know what I'm saying? Making you believe you are being mistreated, or you don't have everything you only need, so forth and so on, man. The goddamn movies and shit being put in your subconscious, just all type of shit. The people neglecting you or whatever the hell. There's so much. From the foods and all of that, man. You having this word is gonna have you, hip to everything. To where you were able to withstand everything, even when the contrary tries to come in and combat that. It only makes sense because you're like, man, this word on top of everything. Nothing is a surprise to you. The scriptures tell you that. I'm gonna grab that real quick. Let me actually read this. See if I want to read this right here. This is 1 Corinthians 10. For those that ain't heard it in the KJV, I'm going to read it here. It says, 13, there have no temptation taken you, but such as is common to men. This stuff been going on, the stuff you're going to be made to go through the times of your life, the feelings you can have. Like, you're not the first person to feel like this. You ain't the first sad person. You ain't the first person that, you just, it should be, it's none of that. You should just, just sit your ass down somewhere, man. Whether you poor or whether you, no one around you, think you ain't getting no attention, sit your goofy ass down, and stop letting the carnal world and everything outside of what you actually are, which is a spirit, your spirit tell you that, it is, thinking there's more going on than what it is. And now you get all acting sporadic and crazy, and respond in the exact ways those thoughts, those feelings, those demons was trying to get you to react, because you dealing with it, it's everything but what, like I said, it truly is. And that's ultimately according to the scriptures. How about Shem Yahushua? It's a time and a season. No, I'm good on that. Yeah, no, I don't need that. Now you think you need that, or you need to be after that, or this shouldn't be. And now you done fell in the trap, the game. Now they ain't got your ass. You know what I'm saying? And you don't even realize that's the fight right there. So now you getting your ass beat, don't even realize it until you wake up knocked the fuck out. For being knocked the fuck out, you ain't even know it. And then you just keep going on like some, and they were able to bounce back, and it's just too much for them. Because usually, if you don't just crash out immediately, like in the sense of jumping off of a damn building or something like that, you just overwhelmed, overbeared, because you being tried, and you just give up, and then your way of fighting back is completely not even doing nothing, just quitting. It ain't even believing the crap that it wants you to go do or whatever. It's just outright like, all right, that's some crap, and I just, what? Because what if his issue was he was broke, the person was broke? Why he just didn't go try to, man, I ain't going, man. I'm finna rob a nigga. I'm finna damn go crack a car. I'm finna go do this. I'm finna go do that. I'm finna get this money, do something crazy, sell his soul or something like that. Why he just quit? See? Because all that are part of the fight. So eventually you come to realize clearly like that stuff ain't real. Clearly it's a part of the fight, but you don't want to fight no more. You don't even want to engage. You ain't even getting hit no more. I'm just quitting. Because I know all these thoughts of me feeling inadequate is or whatever the hell is just punches that's being thrown at me. And I don't even feel like engaging no more. I can't engage no more. Or you humiliated by the last time when you engaged and you can't go on, then you just quit. So the only way you got a fighting chance to avoid being punched by certain shit, hit by certain shit, or not even being willing to fight anymore to where you jump off a damn bridge or something like that, is by this word, Yahweh Bashem Yahushua. So again, there had no temptation to have taken you, but such is common to men. But God is faithful, who will not suffer you to be tempted above that which ye are able, but will with the temptation also make a way to escape, that ye may be able to bear it. All right. This is in the NLT. The temptation in your life are no different from what others experience. So whoever that was ain't dealing with nothing that's new in history. Ain't nobody ever else dealing with. So why is you responding weak? Some people respond weak, so where they give in to the peer pressure or whatever, or they flesh or the world, or how others gave into it, or others say you are to give into these certain scenarios or handle these certain scenarios, But this person ultimately just didn't want to engage at all. They couldn't. They just quit. But it says from what others are experience. All right. And God is faithful. Yahweh Bashem Yahushua is faithful. He will not allow the temptation to be more than you can stand. See that? When you are tempted, he will show you a way out so you can endure. But you would think, man, I can't do it. I got to give in. Or I can't do it. I just got to quit. I got to crash. I can't do this shit. When he's telling you they all have it'll never get to that point. But it's only by, so you just got to hold on. Like, damn, when this shit going to be over? But it's going to be over because the Lord he don't lie. He faithful. But instead you give in. How everybody else gave in. You try to use everything else to fight back or whatever. Which really you giving in your mind was a way of you fighting back or trying to fix, that void or whatever you thought, or you just fucking quit like this person. So I end here. This is Ephesians 6:10. So finally, my brethren, back in the KJV, be strong in the Lord, Yahweh Bashem Yahushua, and in the power of his might. It says, put on the whole armor of God, that ye may be able to withstand the wiles of the devil. For we wrestle not against flesh and blood. See that? But against principalities. All right? Against powers. Against rulers of the darkness of this world. Against spiritual wickedness in high places. See that? That's what's going on. So it's all in the mind. the mental, a knowledge gain, and applying knowledge gain. And it's only by having the proper knowledge, the knowledge of Yahweh Bashmi Al-Shah, to where you'll be able to have the proper response, wisdom, actions, conduct in the face of these things. Period. So wherefore take you the whole armor of God, Yahweh Ba Hashem Yahweh Shah, that ye may be able to withstand in the evil day. See, in the evil day. All right? Meaning when you in your times, dealing with certain things and having done all to stand. See that? That's it. Taking up this knowledge, wisdom, understanding Yahweh Ba Hashem Yahweh Shah, believing in it, applying it. It's like putting on armor, and knowing you're going to be in battle, and doing it timely, knowing what parts you looking at knowing according to it what you looking at when you in certain times, and, what's to be the application for this situation, putting on the faith that's going to work. You see what I'm saying? So you could read the rest yourself. Stand therefore having your loins girt about with truth, to that, and having on the breastplate of righteousness so righteousness is like a breastplate. It's like a bulletproof vest covering those main vital organs. You see that? And truth is what's going to allow you to fight. Like my grandma used to tell me, she was like, how you going to fight with no belt? You know what I'm saying? And that's what the truth is like, and your feet show with the preparation of the gospel of peace. So that's shoes, this gospel of peace, the good news. It's like having it's being ready. It's like having shoes on. Being ready to go whenever this stuff come your way, because you know what the good news consists of. It consists of what? Good and evil. But ultimately, it's all in your favor. Through one's tribulation, we must enter into the kingdom of heaven. That's the good news. So when you believe in that good news, you're ready for everything that's to come that is a part of the manifesting of the kingdom of heaven. That's a part of the process for you getting in. You're going to be ready. You know what I'm saying? It ain't going to be joyous, but, But nonetheless, it says, above all, taking the shield of faith, wherewith ye shall be able to quench all the fiery darts of the wicked. See? Above all, taking the shield of faith. And that's what's going to hold everything down, because if you don't believe, then what? It's like running a game plan that you don't really believe in. So when you're going through the motions, it's not going to be properly executed. It's not going to be executed with any passion or sureness or soundness, because you don't really believe in it, and it's going to show. It's like telling somebody that's something true, but you don't really believe it. It's going to not sound as true. Above all, taking the shield of faith, wherewith ye shall be able to quench all the fiery darts of the wicked. And it's fiery because that's that trial. Prove you golden, man. Because if you melt in the furnace of adversity, right, the furnace of affliction, you ain't gold. And we gonna know if you melt based off if you fold to the peer pressure, you damn respond in a way, hence the peer pressure, the Satan, the thoughts, carnal world, your flesh was damn near one with the world, wanted you to respond, or if you just outright don't even fight, you just crash out, and all the above is crashing out. But if you just believe in, this truth of Yahweh Shem Shah, and show you do by doing what it tell you, you're going to be able to quench all the fiery darts of the wicked, man. You're going to come out golden. You're going to make it out of them times, the furnace, those instances of you being in the furnace of affliction. And take the helmet of salvation and the sword of the Spirit, which is the word of God. Praying always with all prayer and supplication. Supplication means to beg, and watching thereunto with all perseverance. See that? And supplication for all saints. And I'm going to read this in the NLT, and I'm going to end in the Spirit. It says, it's willing. It says, pray in the Spirit at all times and on every occasion. So that stay alert and be persistent in your prayers for all believers everywhere. Matthew 26:41. Watch and pray. Watch and pray that ye enter not into temptation. Because you don't know who that was, what they was going through. They might have knew the truth. They might not have. They might have had a chance to know the truth. And now you see with them, let's say they didn't have it, or they could have had it, or they played with it, or something like that. Or they didn't have it at all. They was a heathen, right? You see what not having this word of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua get you. That's why we able to, he said, watch. I'm showing you, man. Men's heart's going to be felling on for looking, People ain't going to be able to handle this, man. It said men going to seek death and not find it. And that's not, you ain't going to just be able to jump off a damn building and die. We was just talking about that. It says, watch and pray that ye enter not into temptation. The spirit indeed is willing, but the flesh is weak. All right? So that's that, man. All right? And certain cups you got to drink of. And Yahushua, when you read the next verse, he goes on to talk about that. He's like, this cup ain't going to pass away from me except I drink it. So certain things you got to conquer, you got to get over, you got to go past. The Lord put certain things in your face to see if you will meet it head on and beat that shit out, as you ought, to see if you really that. You got to fight. You can't run, can't fold, you know what I'm saying? And you got to fight with Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua in the way you will, See that? That's it. Ain't no way around it. Some shit you gotta go through. If this the only way to get this shit out my way to not deal with this shit no more, going through, I'm gonna go through the shit. Fuck it. I'm gonna handle it. I'm gonna beat the fuck out the shit with the spirit of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua. Call Halam La Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua Wahawa Kakudas. Till next time, shalom.